Truth. Is truth a mere combination of consonants and vowel to make a word? Or there is more than meets the eye behind its meaning and intended purpose? Maybe like a double-edged sword, separating reality from fiction. According to the Oxford Dictionary, the noun truth implies a state of being actual or real. Now, let us widen our spectrum of thought and elucidate on the noun state, which simply means a condition or a state of circumstances applying at any given time. For instance, the symbol of justice connotes a perfect picture image of how court stands by the virtue of truth. But the stark reality behind the corridors of justice, truth can easily be manipulated depending on the fatness of one's pockets. In a relationship, a cheater may employ the old Nazi propagandist tactic of, and I quote, "The longer you tell and maintain a lie, it is perceived as truth." The faithful partner will end up believing the cheater's word as true. Ever watched the series titled Capture? If you haven't, I would wish you watch it. In the series, it gives a clear insight of how truth can be twisted to fit someone's agenda. But at the end of the day, we all come to a conclusion that the truth shall set everyone free. But I dare ask, free from what? Truth has faced adversity and twist along the way since the early stages of human evolution due to high complex verification processes, and irrefutable verification often exceeds our capacity to conceptualize what is vaguely truth, in dreams for example. That is why authentic perception of truth often eludes us. Did you know at one point in life, slavery was thought to be a manifestation of cosmic order? Anyway, today I'm honored to host 3 intellectual minds who are going to join me in this interactive show. Welcome.
So I'm Ngare, and I'm a journalist, and I love learning and knowing more.
I am Joan Kaberia, a travel vlogger and a counselor.
I'm Dennis Mtua. I'm a culture quest guy, and I'm also a traveler.
Welcome, guys. So to kickstart with our question, do you guys think that truth is fragile by itself, and how?
So, first of all, truth is fragile. Fragile, first of all, we have to ask ourselves, what's fragile? Fragile, another synonym of fragile is vulnerable. So truth, to me, is very fragile and is vulnerable. It matters, and I'll give an example of a hospital. A guy is sick. The doctors come and they tell the guy you're sick, but they won't divulge to the guy what he's sick from, because this will end up breaking the guy's heart. So sometimes truth can be held back, because for you to avoid breaking somebody's heart.
John?
Yes, truth is indeed fragile in the sense that people see truth as a burden. It is easier to lie rather than to take the truth. For example, when friends advise each other, to not make your friend feel bad, you just tell a lie, not the truth, because you end up maybe crushing their soul, or and yeah, truth is losing its essence, because back then, the days of our parents, truth was really the core of everything, But nowadays, in this generation, to get something done, you just tell someone what they want to hear to benefit from it.
Also, I'll also support truth being fragile, since yes, you're telling the truth, but whom are you telling to? Some people are strong and they'll tell the truth, however, in whatever way you'll tell them, and they'll understand it. But some people are not that strong. So even though yes, you're telling the truth, you'll end up breaking them or your happiness. So at times that's when we decide. At times we don't lie. We might hide the truth, where we call it maybe stalling or laughing. And when I'm stalling, I want to learn. What if I just told you the truth? This is when the doctors would start asking you if you're going to be for a visit checkup. They'll now start asking you, what if you realize you're positive? What will you do? Now if they see you're strong, you know what you'll deal with, I'll eat healthy. People live with this disease. But if you can't acknowledge that, they now start stalling. And they'll not just tell you directly, you know what, you're HIV positive. You can't do that. That's why we say that, truth is fragile and it depends on who is being told the truth.
And can we say like truth by itself, it is not fragile, but due to human manipulation and human emotions, that's where the fragility comes to?
Yeah, exactly. The words you used are very quite good. Like the emotions, you see. If it were not for the emotions, I'll just be popping in and I'm telling you, Bonnie, you're this and this. And because you don't feel it, you'll just be okay. But the emotions part, that's what brings the fragility of the truth. Because you don't know, if I tell this guy the truth, will he heal himself? What will he do? What is he going to do? How is it going to affect him? So emotions are everything when it comes to truth.
Joanne?
Yes, true. I second that. People's emotions and what people make of the situation is what that makes the truth fragile. Maybe they cannot bring it out and see this person is strong. Maybe they're diminishing you, diminishing someone. This person cannot take the truth. You don't look like you can take the truth, so they lie. So it's the person that makes the truth lose value.
So truth by itself, we all agree it is not fragile.
In a sense, please.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we say any kind of action taken to achieve the truth is justifiable, i.e. killing a rapist while trying to get the truth from him or her?
You can do something good, but in a wrong way. So if I commit murder, and yes, I was trying to get truth, it's like you're extorting something from someone. So if you want truth and you use not the right methods of getting the truth, one of the things that you'll be left with is the guilt. So I wouldn't say that I'll do something bad to do something good. And I'll relate it to this. Now imagine, Bonnie, you're working in a company where you get paid and you're paid per month. And we're looking at this period of time when we had COVID. The company needs the money, you also need the money. And we decide we want to be paying you the way we're paying you, we shall deduct something. And after it all, we shall come and pay you back. But now, Bonnie, you're there and there's your relative who's in the hospital. And you've been asked by the relatives in our family gathering, can you at least even get around 100K to support so-and-so who is sick? And you're there, you go to your boss and ask him, can you lend me this amount of money? You're the treasurer of that company. And one of the things that you know, yes, there is that money. So you're the treasurer, you already know.
Yeah.
And when you ask, the boss tell you, no, just be fit with whatever we paid you. Just the loan that you're going for, they'll cut it maybe from your allowances or even your pay. And when the boss says no, and your relative is dying, or let's say if it's an operation to be taken, for the operation to start with this money, and you're just there, what will you do? You don't just take the money, take it to the hospital, and let the company deal with you as the money is being dealt with in the hospital. You've done something right to your relative, but you've gone against the company. What if your relative then even dies after even you've taken the money? Now you have to pay the bill, yes, but you're not happy. I took it and after it all, it didn't help. Some people will argue that I'll not take the money and then give it to the guy, I just refund it straight, as if you're not a part of it. But never forget, whatever you do, the way you do it, it also matters. So I wouldn't say that it will be justifiable killing someone when you're trying to exhaust something. You can use other methods.
Yeah. Let me give you this instance. In church, a lot of people bring dirty money in church.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing the right thing, but what are you bringing to the church? What means did you use to acquire that money? It might be dirty money. Why are you bringing dirty money to the church? It is a good act, but it is wrong. You stealing or whatever, where you got that money. So, yeah.
So I'll say that in the world itself, we've seen we are living in a world where we are seeing sins, everyday happenings showing us that two wrongs have never made a right. You can't make a right by somebody, something like what you've said, a rapist, and then you kill, that person dies. That there is no right in that. You'll forever believe in guilt that this person died because of my actions. So you can never justify doing something wrong to get a good thing from it. No. We say that the ends does not justify the means, but the means justifies the end.
Okay, let me ask you guys something. What if you have a kid, and then there's someone who is trying to kill your kid, and you have an opportunity to save your kid by killing that person? What will you do?
Well, it depends. You see,
The only opportunity, remember, that you have of saving your kid is by killing that person. What will you do? Joanne, what will you do?
Kill.
You will kill for your
I
kid.
mean, I think the courts or the law, the only time you kill is by defending your life. And I'm defending my kid's life. It's a life for a life. I would kill.
It's a life for a life.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I would kill just.
More about killing.
Yeah.
So guys, what is the correlation between absolute truth and relative truth?
so absolute truth is like, you know, this is the truth. Like absolute truth, I can relate it with facts. You know, even if you don't agree with me, I'm a boy, I'm a man. You know that's the truth. Relative truth is, I have my own truth that I know is the truth. You have your own. There is what I believe in, there is what you believe in. And relative truth, I bring it in terms of religion. We all, okay, first of all, I bring in absolute and then relative. Absolute truth, I bring in the part of we all believe in one supreme being. Even if you're a Hindu, you're a Christian, there is something you believe in. Even if you are an atheist, there is something you believe in. That's absolute truth. But then the difference comes in relative truth, where everybody now has what they believe in. There is those who believe in God, there are Islam, there are Hindus, there is a difference. So we bring in both of these things correlate, and for us to live in harmony in this world, we have to correlate with these people. I have to accept there's a supreme being here, and I believe in God. This Boni, there's a supreme being here, you believe, you are Rastafarian, you believe in that, and I have to respect that so that we can live together in harmony.
Yes, absolute truth and relative, they are both truths. And absolute is factual, it is universal, it cannot be changed. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That's fact, you cannot change that. And relative is your truth versus mine. I can, some people argue out the world is flat and others round. Yes, so relative is your truth versus mine, and absolute is factual. Yes.
As for me, yeah, absolute is that thing that it's either you believe or you don't, and you can acknowledge it or fail to acknowledge. But you know, yeah, it's true. But then the relative one, it's like how you hold your own opinion. I believe in this, and this is how things are done. That's your relative truth. And relative truth can be swayed. People can change you from believing whatever you believe in, or from doing things the way you're doing. And you believe that was the right way then, but now you don't believe it any longer. Unlike absolute, where if it's that way, it's that way. You just have to live with it. For example, when you had elections, we all knew someone would win, either by the 50+1 or even the 49. Then there's this part of, we don't know who won when you were arguing, when they were taking the case. There are those who believe that, no, our votes were stolen, I'm manipulated in a way. And there's those who already won, they'll say, no, nothing happened. Which, yeah, it's nothing that happened. You see, they are having their own truth. But then when we go to the court acts as, we'll say, an intermediate between the two. And when they decide, that's when you can be swayed. By the way, it makes sense. If we all took all that, we had the evidence of this and this, what happened, but you're told nothing of that's what happened. And the evidence is not firm enough. See, we can be swayed and believe, yeah, whoever won it right. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Okay, moving on. In a case where different groups hold different set of truth from others and each of their beliefs hold watertight evidence of their truth, do you think they can coexist with one another without any problem arising?
Well, the nature of human beings is coexisting. Otherwise, because we don't all believe in one thing, and we have not killed each other for that. We are all living in the same universe. So I believe that my truth, your truth. Then we come together. You believe in that. I believe in this. We can coexist. I don't have to change what you believe in, and you don't have to change what I believe in. That's why we are in, like, you find, maybe I'm a lecturer and I'm teaching in a class where I have so many people from different denominations. These people, I don't have to keep on fighting them, telling them to believe in this. No. I just have to find this center place where we come and meet. We have one thing in common. We are here in class, we are studying. We are done with that, we go back to what we are doing. We don't have to just live believing in one thing. No, people have diverse minds.
John?
Yeah. For me, I believe the world is diverse. And for us to coexist and live in harmony, we have to respect each other's decisions. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, their thoughts, and their livelihood, and no one should interfere. If you choose to not believe in a God, it's okay. I will respect that. If I believe in my God and I'm from this religion, you should respect that. Even in politics, you find people are from different parties. They are fanatics for this, for example, as Mio and this party and other party. You know, we should respect that. And I think that's what happened in this election. People didn't fight because they accepted it, you know. They knew that this party will win or this party will lose, you know, and they accepted that. The difference is really important. You respect and appreciate people's truth. Yeah.
I'll also second whatever they're saying, because human nature is to coexist. We learn to coexist with one another, with the things we find, animals and everything that's in the nature. And imagine this scenario where everyone believes in the same thing, we all do things the same way, and everything is similar. The world will be boring, if I'm to say. Like, for example, we have the football teams, where you support a team that you want and the other that your friend supports another team, which is different from yours. But if all of you, imagine a house where the mother, the father, the children, all of them support one team, and that's Manchester United. And whenever they are low, or whenever they've been beaten, whenever they've been thrashed, whenever they've won, they're just happy or even moody, all of them. But if they don't support the same thing and they are different in some way, their similarities will make it interesting. You'll be afraid to lose in that match because you don't know what your brother will tell you. They'll start laughing at you. You see, those are the things that you shall start avoiding. But now imagine these are Muslims, then these are Christians. We all believe that, there is Christ. But to us, Christ is the Son of God. Then to Muslims, it's just a prophet. And for us to coexist, we just let them believe what they believe in, and we believe in what we believe in. And that's how we find it. We are living happy together. But when we start forcing people to believe what we believe, for example, Al-Shabaab take kids and start training them to believe this is the way, yet they are not Christians, they are not Muslims, they are Christians, it doesn't end up well. The parents will not, the kids can change, but the parents won't understand it. You just told our kids, not that you took them to train them. And that's why, for example, in schools, we learn CRE, and there was also the IRE, and the Muslim or whatever.
And the Hindu.
Exactly. Yeah. When you learn their things and you understand, I think theirs is true. If you go and tell your parents it's not an African, mom will just tell you, okay, you want to become, just become. You want to become a Christian, nah. But if you learn their way and see it's true, that's when you can change. You've not been forced. So it's your own opinion. That's when you coexist well. You know you can coexist, but you're just fighting. And at times you're just told, you have to support this. And if you don't support this and this will happen, the consequences. Where you live, yes, it is peace, but the peace wasn't positive. It's a negative peace. You're just peaceful because you're afraid. If I do things contrary, my mom will tell me, don't live in this house. Don't call me your mom. Don't. So I'll say, understanding one another and letting people believe what they believe in, and then you believe on what you believe in, will enable people to coexist together.
Okay, and assuming what can we help? How can we help the kids or the people who have been radicalized to believing that a certain truth is the absolute truth?
When you're given both sides of a story, and
Assuming you are being tortured,
you're being tortured
to believe that a certain truth is the real truth.
I wouldn't. Okay, you can't help someone who's being tortured, because if you want to coexist, if you want to live, and if I tell you, even though they tell you this, you see, for me, my morals have told me that even in church, that if it ever comes a time that you'll be told to either choose this or this, you know what you believe in, and then you want to torture me to believe, for example, to believe that in the Muslim way. For me, I'm taught just die with your own truth, the belief that I have. I better die and find the consequence that, yeah, there was no that God. But if I tell someone when you're tortured, you want to live, just say, yeah, accept. You see, you've accepted as if you're not fully into it, but you've just accepted to live. It's not worth, but some things are worth your life. For me, anything to do with religion, for me, it's worth my life. If I can die supporting one thing, even though I'm tortured, I'll go with it. But if you're not ready for that, you can just accept to live.
Okay, moving on forward. In Western culture, the truth of the matter is that their culture embraces same-gender relationships and marriages, which they cunningly promote to Africa, but demonizes polygamous marriage, which is widely practiced by Africans. From this statement, can we deduce that there is bigger truth, and I quote, and smaller truth depending on who is pushing the agenda? I'd like to ask Joanne first, because ladies nowadays, they are like into each other.
So first of all, from the polygamous and the
Same.
yeah. So first of all, into culture, let me start with cultural aspects and stuff like that. It's okay. You're from this culture and you should know your roots. One thing about this era is that people just go with what the generation is serving to them. They don't know their roots, and westernization there. This LGBTQ, not to be controversial in any way, they are conforming to their ways from the media, influence from the media, from peers and all that. Maybe some of them is just pressure, because looking back from our culture, those behaviors weren't there. They were not evident in those eras. And about polygamous, maybe I can say I'm a victim of the Western world. I don't tolerate polygamy. Yeah, I'll just
Do you tolerate
no, I do not. For me, I hope anyone who is seeing this will accept my truth. Yes, I do not. But then again, I have to respect their truth. It's what they want. They're entitled to their feelings. I am not here to judge. But as for me, I really don't. I wouldn't.
So do you think like there's a bigger truth and a smaller truth depending on who is pushing the agenda?
Bigger truth in terms of
like how the Westerners always try to push this agenda of same gender marriage down to our throat, but they oppose our way of living, which is polygamous. Polygamy.
Yeah. Okay. That's the yeah. Go to the next one. I'll come back to that.
So as I said, as we were starting, I said that I'm a cultural post guy.
Yeah.
And I've studied culture, different cultures here and there. And what I've come to understand is that there is something we call cultural imperialism, where one culture matters more, and that is the Western culture matters more to us. It all boils down to what we are being fed. These people are feeding us with their own information, with, like, let's say what we watch daily. Like what percentage do you watch from the African culture, and what percentage do you watch from the Western culture? The same thing we ask about them. What percentage do they watch of the African culture? and what percentage they watch of their culture, I think I would guess it's like they watch 99% of their culture and 1% of us. But when it comes to us, we watch 70% of their culture and 30% of ours. So why is it that polygamy is not spreading to their place and this homosexuality is spreading to our place? It's all a matter of exposure. They have not been exposed to it because they are not seeing it. But we have been exposed to homosexuality almost daily. Like every movie you're watching nowadays, it has to have homosexuality. So if we're more exposed, you will tend to change what you believe in than somebody who is not exposed. So it all matters with it doesn't matter who is proposing the truth. It matters with the amount or how often is that truth being portrayed to you. If it is brought to you more and more, maybe 10, 20 times a day, and to somebody else 1 time a day, this other person tend to change faster as compared to you.
Also, my take is similar because whatever we've been told, it's peer, the LGBTQ. Because in this scenario where in your teenage life and your early 20s, you're practically, because your emotions are ballooned and your feelings, and you want to enjoy this thing, and you just saw it how it's being done. But later on, even we've got examples where after they get to a certain age, they settle families where they are married to a person of the different gender, but not the same. You see, in the Western, we see them even adopting kids because they do the foster moms. They come together and they have kids. But for us, we just get to a certain age where it's called, I guess, it's self-actualization, where you know yourself and what you want. That's when you meet them. Now they've started even dating, they've even gotten spouses, and even start having kids. They're the same people who are supporting the same thing. And to us, to them, they're selling their agenda. So it's true, whomever is selling their agenda, it depends. And that's why we can say that if the Western who are selling their agenda to us, we shall easily buy it. I've not heard of anyone selling our agenda to them that they should support polygamous. To them, they just see Africans do polygamy.
We always sell our agenda to them, but our agendas are always negative. Agenda of poverty, HIV and AIDS, like we are always seeking help from them. That is our agenda to them.
But no, I'm talking about the polygamous way of our marriage. And you see, the Western don't have a culture. Western people don't have a culture on such things. They do things according to them. It's not something that was there. They just do things. To us, we have cultures which are our roots and our backgrounds. In your culture, you live in this, you grow, you're taught the same thing, you teach your kids, and generation to generation. That's what I'm saying. I've not heard of anyone selling our polygamy way of life or our cultural way back then of life to them that should also do this. To them, they sell it. That's why you hear when you're even watching their movies. Each and every movie nowadays must have, it kind of must, because all that are latest movies, we should just meet that they are selling this agenda to us. And that's why even when they come visit our country, yes, you need this loan, this grant, this help. We shall tell you, and by the way, have you thought of doing these things? And because you want to look nice, to be appealing to them, so that they can be helping you more often. That's why we shall now start practicing their way of life. But to us, we're not helping them in any way. Apart from the raw materials, we see that they are still buying. For us, it's help, grant. So it's kind of different. So whoever is selling the agenda really matters. In the same way, if a rich person, if a poor person accuses a rich person of doing something, like stealing something from them, and you go to the court, the rich person is kind of hard more than you, because they are a lighter or even superior to you. So whoever is selling the agenda will be hard more than the other. That's why we shall just remain being oppressed.
John.
And yes, they work at selling their truth in quotes, and making us, the African culture, to seem that our ways are a bit archaic. And people are conforming to immorality and normalizing it, doing things that even our parents and our grandparents in their graves, they're like, what is happening? Our culture is waning, it's fading away, it's losing essence, value, and all that, and soon our children will not even, won't have anyone to tell them, this is what we had, They will just find what we have here, and I'm actually worried for our next generation because our truth is not our truth anymore, it's their truth.
That's worrisome. Okay, according to one of the greatest African author, Chimamanda Adichie, the war in Ukraine is by self-fragility of truth because one leader is questioning the truth of the other sovereign nation. What's your thought on this bold statement, and by what extent do you think that this is the root cause of racism in the world?
Yeah, it's true, because I'll not relate it to the Ukraine and the Russian war.
Yeah.
But if you look at the way the Western people see us, the way they portray us to be, they know we are poor, because the picture they have of us, to them, is that Africans are poor. This race cannot do something on their own. They need help from us. That's why we go for the loans and the grants from them. Then they know that we are hungry, poverty. They always see us borrowing. Even the pictures they have for us, it's either the kids have koshiako. They are so thin. They've worn tattered clothes. They cannot even support themselves. Living in houses that you can't call a house. And if you tell these people that, you know what, do you know that Africans will also live in houses? Even big mansions, big estates, flats. They can't believe. They'll still ask you, you people, do you still live with animals? Are you still in the forest? Do you still do things the old way? Are you still putting on the skin and the hives and even drinking from the horns? That's what they see us to be that way. So for them, they'll it's racism, because even though you tell them the truth, they'll not take it as it is. They'll even not imagine it as it is. That's why they have their own picture of us. Yeah.
Yes, and to add on that, everything said to diminish or to tarnish the African name, it comes from the Western side. And and also about racism, racism came from scientists, from those people who seem to have power in the Western world. And there was this scientists really hated the people of color and the babies, their offspring mulattoes, and they said that they were not for the idea that the inbreeding or intermarriages goes on, because the offspring will be less brighter than their parents. They will have diseases or infections, or their immune system will be low, and also from immunization. And also, it's so surprising that you can find that black people are racist too.
In fact, it is said that the black race is the racist of all the races.
Yes.
Their own.
Yes, imagine, to their own. Where are they getting that from? Maybe from their peers, their white peers. And that's really saddening. Yeah.
In fact, Joan, sorry. In fact, when you go to America, it is said you as an African from Africa, when you go to America, it is easy for you to make a white friend than a black friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you said about the war in Ukraine, and the one president seeing their truth as the absolute truth, that this is the truth. You guys, you are supposed to be our subordinates. You guys, you are supposed to be worshiping us. Whereas it's not the truth. Right now, Ukraine is a sovereign nation. They are on their own. But Russia doesn't want to recognize that. That's why it's bringing more. And when it comes to racism, I'll bring in Chimamanda Adichie in The Dangers of Our Single Story. And she stated that when a single story is sold over and over and over, it always ends up changing the minds of those people. For example, these Western people, they've always been told that these blacks, these guys, they live in the forest. These guys, they live with monkeys. These guys do this and this and this. So they end up knowing. Those who are the ones who have never been here, they end up knowing by these guys, they live in the forest. That's what we know. Others have been here, but they still want to sell the story about us living in the forest. Why? Because they want their truth to matter more than our truth.